The signal and response. Contact, bearing 653 Mark IV. Unidentified transmission. Lieutenant Sarah Chen's voice cut through the hushed silence of Earth's deep space monitoring station. Her dark eyes remained fixed on the holographic display as her fingers danced across the console, isolating the signal from the cosmic background noise. Commander James Wilson moved to her station, coffee forgotten in his hand. Source: unknown, sir. Definitely artificial, but unlike anything in our database. She tapped a series of commands, and a rhythmic pattern of pulses filled the room. It's repeating. Definitely not natural. Distance: approximately 57 light-years, originating from the Epsilon Eridani system. She looked up. Commander, this signal, it's degrading. Whatever sent it, they're in trouble. Wilson studied the waveform. After 3 centuries of searching the stars, humanity had found evidence of intelligent life, but not a greeting. A desperate plea. Run it through the BBL protocol, he ordered, referring to the advanced translation algorithm designed for potential first contact scenarios. Hours later, the message was deciphered. An SOS from a species calling themselves the Vex. Their world was under siege by something called the Scourge. The transmission included spatial coordinates and ended with a simple phrase that BABL translated as, "Please help us." Admiral Elena Reyes stood before the United Earth Council, her weathered face illuminated by the chamber's blue light. At 63, she commanded humanity's modest interstellar fleet, 12 ships originally built for exploration, not combat. The signal is genuine, she concluded, and the coordinates place it at Epsilon Eridani, a star system we've long suspected might harbor habitable worlds. Counselor Alvarez frowned. Admiral, with all due respect, we have no obligation to respond. This could be a trap, or worse. We could be pulled into an interstellar conflict we have no stake in. Or, Rice countered, it could be our first chance to prove humanity's worth to the galaxy. We're talking about risking Earth's security on a rescue mission for aliens we've never met, objected Counselor Zhao. Our ships weren't designed for combat. No, Rice agreed, but they were designed by humans. She gestured to the holographic display showing Earth's fleet. The Defiant-class vessels can be retrofitted with our prototype defensive systems. We've been preparing for first contact for generations, just not like this. Council President Okafor's deep voice silenced the chamber. How many ships would you need, Admiral? All of them, Rice answered without hesitation, and every volunteer willing to make the journey. The debate raged for hours, but in the end, humanity's compassion prevailed over caution. The decision was made. Earth would answer the call. The space station New Horizon buzzed with activity as Captain Marcus Cruz supervised the retrofitting of his ship, the EDS Indomitable. Engineers worked around the clock, installing experimental shield generators and weapons systems that had been in development for decades but never deployed. Captain, Dr. Aisha Patel approached, tablet in hand. As the fleet's leading xenobiologist, she'd been tasked with preparing for potential biological incompatibilities with the alien species. The medical bay modifications are complete. We've stocked synthetic universal plasma and adaptable medical nanites. Cruz nodded, his dark eyes scanning the loading manifest. And the language matrix. BBEL has been updated with all available data from the transmission. It's our best shot at communication. She hesitated. Marcus, are we really doing this? Crossing 57 light-years to save aliens we've never met. Cruz looked out the viewport at Earth, a blue marble against the blackness of space. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old sailing days. There was an unwritten law of the sea. When someone sends a distress call, you respond. It doesn't matter who they are. The vastness of space isn't the same as Earth's oceans, Aisha pointed out. No, Cruz agreed, but the principle is. Besides, what would it say about humanity if our first act on the galactic stage was to ignore a cry for help? 3 days later, Earth's fleet departed the solar system. 12 ships carrying Earth's finest, scientists, engineers, doctors, and soldiers, all volunteers. As the ships engaged their experimental FTL drives, humanity held its collective breath. Whether they returned as heroes or never returned at all, history was being made. The journey took 17 days. 17 days of preparation, training, and speculation about what awaited them. When the fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system, they immediately detected signs of conflict. Multiple vessels detected, reported Lieutenant Rodriguez from the tactical station. 2 distinct design configurations. One group is clustered around the third planet, appears defensive. The others are, he paused, massive, Admiral. At least 30 ships, each larger than anything we've ever built. Admiral Rice studied the tactical display. The larger ships, the attackers, I presume. What's their disposition? Forming a blockade around the planet, ma'am. They're methodically destroying defensive satellites and orbital installations. Life signs on the planet. Billions, ma'am. But dropping rapidly in areas under bombardment. Rice straightened her uniform. Open a channel to the defending fleet. After several attempts, the view screen flickered to life. The bridge crew stared in stunned silence at the alien face before them. The Vex commander had iridescent blue-green skin, large multifaceted eyes, and no visible mouth. Instead, a series of bioluminescent patterns pulsed across its face. "This is Admiral Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Fleet," she began. "We received your distress signal and have come to offer assistance." The alien's patterns shifted rapidly, and the BBEL system translated. "You came from where?" "From Earth, a planet approximately 57 light-years from your position." The alien seemed momentarily stunned. "Deathworlders, you are the species from the high-gravity oxygen-nitrogen world. We did not expect. We only hoped any nearby collective vessel might hear us." "Deathworlders," Captain Cruz whispered from his position behind the Admiral. "We're here now," Rice continued. "Tell us what we're facing." "The Scourge," came the translated response. "They consume worlds, strip them of resources, leave nothing alive. Our defenses fail. 3 billion Vex will die if the planet falls." Reyes's expression remained resolute. "Not if we can help it. What resources do you still have available?" As the Vex commander explained their situation, the tactical picture became clear. The Vex were an advanced civilization, but their technology focused on creation, not destruction. Their weapons were defensive, designed to deter, not annihilate. Against the Scourge's overwhelming force, they were outmatched. "We need to break that blockade," Rice said after the briefing. "Give the Vex time to evacuate critical population centers." "Admiral," Cruz cautioned, "their ships outnumber and outgun us." Rice smiled thinly. "Then we'll have to be smarter, won't we? Humanity's greatest strength has never been our technology, Captain. It's our adaptability, our refusal to accept defeat." She turned to the tactical display. "And right now, we need to make these bullies understand what happens when you pick a fight with those who consider a death world home." Proving humanity's worth. All ships, Battle Formation Delta, Admiral Rice commanded as Earth's fleet approached the besieged planet. "Deploy countermeasures and activate ECM protocols." The 12 human vessels spread out, looking deceptively small against the massive Scourge armada. From the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Cruz watched the enemy ships adjust their positions, breaking off their bombardment to meet this new threat. "They're scanning us," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. "Active targeting systems detected." "Let them look," Cruz replied. "They won't find much. Our hulls were designed to absorb and diffuse scanning beams." The largest Scourge vessel, a behemoth nearly 2 kilometers long, moved toward the human fleet. Its surface bristled with weapon emplacements, and its hull bore the scars of countless battles. A harsh, guttural voice boomed through the communication channels. "Unidentified vessels. You enter restricted space. Withdraw or be destroyed. Admiral Rice stood tall. This is Admiral Rice of Earth. You are attacking a peaceful civilization. We demand your immediate withdrawal. A sound like grinding metal, laughter, perhaps, answered her. Earth? Unknown. Insignificant. Your demand is rejected. Your ships are few. Your weapons are weak. Last warning. Rice nodded to her communications officer. Cut transmission. She turned to the fleet-wide channel. You all know the plan. The Scourge expect us to either retreat or mount a direct assault. We'll do neither. Execute Operation Hornet's Nest on my mark. The human fleet suddenly accelerated, but instead of engaging the Scourge head-on, they split into 3 groups. The first group, led by the Indomitable, dove toward the planet as if making a run for the surface. The second group curved around to approach from the system's outer edge. The third group, including Admiral Rice's flagship Dauntless, held position. They're taking the bait, Cruz observed as several Scourge vessels broke formation to pursue his group. Exactly as you predicted, Admiral. The Scourge may be advanced, but their tactics are predictable, Rice replied over the comm. They've never faced humans before. They don't know what we're capable of. As the pursuing Scourge ships closed in, the human vessels released clouds of what appeared to be debris. Actually advanced autonomous drones carrying powerful electromagnetic pulse generators. EMP swarm deployed, Cruz reported. Detonation in 3, 2, 1. The drones exploded in synchronized bursts of energy that washed over the Scourge vessels. Lights flickered across their hulls as critical systems temporarily failed. Now, Captain, came Reyes's command. Cruz nodded to his weapons officer. Deploy the Raptors. From the belly of each human ship, smaller craft emerge. Remote assault precision tactical orbital response systems. Unlike traditional fighters, these were semi-autonomous, each piloted by a human operator safely aboard the main vessel, neurally linked to their craft. The Raptors swarmed around the disabled Scourge ships, targeting weapon emplacements and engine ports with surgical precision. Too small for the Scourge's main weapons to track effectively, they exploited vulnerabilities no autonomous system would have identified. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral Rice watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Humanity's greatest advantage, she murmured. Creative problem-solving under pressure. The Scourge flagship fired a massive energy beam toward the Dauntless, but the human vessel executed a maneuver no ship that size should have been capable of, rolling sideways while maintaining its forward momentum, the beam grazing its reinforced hull rather than striking it dead center. Damage report. Rice demanded as the ship stabilized. Shield holding at 62%. Admiral, came the response. Hull integrity at 89%. That was too close. They're adapting to our tactics, Rice observed. Time for Phase 2. All ships, execute Thunderclap protocol. The scattered human fleet suddenly reversed course, converging on the Scourge flagship from multiple vectors. Before the enemy could respond, each human vessel launched what appeared to be conventional missiles. But these weren't ordinary weapons. As they approached their targets, they split apart, revealing networks of superconducting coils. Powerful magnetic fields formed between the human ships and the deployed devices, creating an artificial electromagnetic storm around the Scourge flagship. Containment field established, reported the Dauntless's science officer. The localized magnetic storm is disrupting their targeting systems and communications. Trapped within the electromagnetic maelstrom, the Scourge flagship fired blindly, its weapons discharging into empty space, or occasionally, striking its own support vessels. Now, Dr. Patel, Rice ordered. From her station aboard the Indomitable, Dr. Aisha Patel activated the system she'd helped design, a series of tight beam transmissions directed at the Scourge fleet. Not weapons, but information. Specifically, a computer virus tailored to the patterns they'd observed in Scourge communications. Virus deployed, Captain, she reported to Cruz. It's designed to exploit the pathways they used for intership tactical coordination. Throughout the Scourge fleet, command and control systems began to fail. Ship-to-ship communications dissolved into chaos. Coordinated attack patterns broke down into individual vessels acting without central direction. Their fleet is fragmenting, Kruz reported to Admiral Reyes. The virus is working. For the first time, uncertainty crept into the Scourge commander's voice as it hailed the human fleet. What technology is this? Your capabilities were not known to us. That's the problem with underestimating those you consider beneath you, Reyes replied. You miss the details that matter. Withdraw your forces now, or we'll demonstrate what else humanity is capable of. The Scourge Armada hesitated, caught between retreat and continued aggression. Then, slowly, they began to pull back from the planet, maintaining defensive formations but ceasing their attack. This conflict is postponed, came the Scourge commander's message. Your species will be studied, your weaknesses found. Study carefully, Reyes responded. And understand this. The people of Earth will not stand idle while innocent lives are threatened. We may be newcomers to the galactic community, but we bring with us thousands of years of protecting our own. Today, we extended that protection to the Vex. Tomorrow, it could include others. As the Scourge fleet retreated to the system's edge, the Vex ships approached the human fleet. Their commanders' patterns pulsed with what BABEL translated as profound gratitude. You came from your distant world to save those unknown to you, the Vex commander transmitted. This action defies understanding. Not to us, Reyes replied simply. On Earth, we have a saying. The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats those in need of help. The collective has long classified Earth as a death world, its inhabitants too dangerous to contact. The Vex admitted. We were mistaken in our assessment. Not entirely, Reyes said with a slight smile. We can be dangerous when necessary, but we prefer to be friends. 6 months later, Admiral Reyes stood before the United Earth Council once more. Behind her, representatives from 12 alien species, the Galactic Collective, waited to address Earth's leaders. When we answered the distress call, she concluded, we didn't just save the Vex. We changed humanity's future. The Collective has invited Earth to join as a full member, with all the benefits that entails: shared technology, cultural exchange, mutual defense. And the Scourge? Asked President Okafor. They've withdrawn to the outer systems, for now, Reyes answered. But the Collective believes they'll return, stronger and better prepared, which is why our new allies value our participation so highly. She smiled. It seems our Death World adaptations make us uniquely qualified for certain challenges. As the Collective representatives came forward to formalize Earth's membership, Reyes reflected on how a single decision, to answer a cry for help, had transformed humanity's place in the cosmos. They had been isolated, alone in the void. Now they stood among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as saviors. The Deathworlders had proven their worth not through dominance, but through compassion. And the galaxy would never be the same. The end.